thanks for tuning in. Sometimes I wonder why my dad messes around with junk like this. Want to see what it is? Hey Dan, run that intro!
So the plan with this engine is to get it freed up. So I have this little engine crate stand with wheels. So since the engine's upside down, it kind of makes sense just to move it away from the Chevelle a little bit. If I can get it on this, I might just be able to kind of gently topple it over and get it on the ground, and then we can slide it in the garage. So let's see how the word gently works out. I actually lost a couple of these straps on the way. You see, I was getting eaten up by this. So probably not the best way to move an engine, but it got here and I only lost 2 straps. Actually, I didn't lose them, they just broke. They didn't come off on the road or anything, so we're safe. Break from the sun, get to put this thing together. Alright, let's see if it goes on the engine. It actually has bolts right here, and I'll go right in there. Essentially, that's the goal. Probably should have tapped these just to make sure the threads are alright, but since this is a Buick engine, it only has 2 mounts that'll fit on the front here, or on the back of the engine, and the motor mounts won't bolt up because this is obviously for a Chevy, because I'm a Chevy guy. But there's a block on the block, so I think it'll support it okay. We'll find out. Now you can see here how the motor mount bolts don't line up, small black Chevy, Buick. But there's a boss right here, so when this is upside down, this will be sitting on here, so that'll support the block. I don't guess we need this starter wire, do we? Alright, so the plan is to just flip this over and it's going to land down here gently on the wheels, and you guys are all going to comment, great job Dan. Or, I'm going to try and flip it over, it's going to make a mess, hit my foot, I'll end up in the hospital and you guys will say, you should have done it the right way with the engine crane. But that's all the way over there and the Chevelle's in the way, so let's just see what happens. With the tire. I don't necessarily want the tire. I mean, it doesn't have heads, so I don't really want to scratch up my trailer either. I think I'm beyond that. If this does fall on this with all this weight, that's probably not a good thing. Can we lower this down gently? I guess we'll find out. This side. I could get help from a neighbor, but that wouldn't be any fun for you guys. Ready? Wait for it. Yeah, that pretty much worked. The engine's not really supported, but if it was bolted on, it would have been. Look at these tires. Alright, so it's off the trailer and on wheels, so let's bring it in the garage, we'll take a closer look at it. What do we need to get the car off of there? Whoa! Does not want to go straight. It's all crookeded. Alright, so we'll take a little look at the engine. Looks really happy. These two definitely look different than those two. What is the difference between orange piston tops and cylinders and silver gray? Probably water. I'm thinking water got in those and not in those. The water pump is on here. Looks like it's stripped out up there, so somebody made a mess of that. Lower pulley is shot, got a little balancer on it. Oil pump is broken. Got a big chunk taken out of it. Pan is on there, it's a little bashed up. This side, cylinders do look a little bit better. I'm going to see if I can get this thing freed up and see if we'll get it to turn. It does have lifters and a cam in there, for whatever it's worth. It's got some gravel in there too. But what we need to check is the numbers back here. We'll clean it up. It does say 455, so that's good. I don't think it has numbers there. I'll have to look up where Buick numbers are. If they're like Chevy, there should be some numbers over here, I think. So we'll get that cleaned up and see what it says. Overall, it's an engine. I do have the heads, intake manifold, so if anybody's interested in buying it, let me know. Offers accepted. If we'll start back here, because this is, I think, where the numbers are for the block. Let's see what it says. And there's a 6. It does say 455. Block casting 1241735. So let me look that up real quick and we'll tell you what it is. Alright, so 1241735, 1241735 is, oh, it's a 72 to 76 455. So that's pretty interesting. Let's see if there's any numbers over here. I know Chevy's put numbers here. Maybe Buick does too. It's a good place for numbers anyway. Not seeing anything. Supposed to be some numbers here on the front of the block next to the water pump, so let's see if we can find anything. I think we need a letter code to figure out what year it is. I thought that 6 on the back meant it was 76, which is what the heads are, I believe, so that would make sense. Alright, there we go. Some numbers. 45H415998. That actually may be a partial VIN. So if anybody has that VIN, you may want this engine. I don't see any other numbers on here, so I still don't know the year. So that's it for the engine right now. I'm going to put some crawl oil in here. I'm going to try to clean up these piston holes and let it sit for a little while and soak, and then see if we can free it up at some point. If it's not up against the brackets, which I don't think it is, I may want to do something with this side so it doesn't snap. So let me see if I can prop it up. Put a bar in here. That's probably a good idea. Alright, now, got to put something between here and this right here. Put something from here to here, I think we'll be in good shape. So, let me find something. That's why we keep exhaust pipes around. See if I can make this become 12 inches. That's about 11 and a half. So, let me jack this up a little more. I'll just put this down here. There you go. That'll support the engine better. So let's see if it blows up or if it works. There you go. So first I want to see if this thing will move at all. Either way. So let's see what happens. Nope. It's bending the tool actually. So yeah, this thing's pretty seized up the way it sits right now. But I bet we can change that. Yep, pretty seized up. So the goal with this engine is going to be to free it up. These cylinder walls are pretty rusted up. This thing has been sitting out in the weather for who knows how long. I don't know. Willie probably knows, but I didn't ask him. But the goal is going to be to get this rotating assembly freed up. So we're going to use these fine products down here. We're going to put them together in a soup and put a little bit in each cylinder. and I'm going to let it sit for a couple of days, let it work, dissolve, whatever this stuff does. Hopefully it doesn't blow up in my garage. We're going to put it together, we're going to put it in this engine, we're going to let it sit for a couple of days, and then we're going to gently tap the top of each one of these pistons and see if we can free up that rotating assembly, see if we can get this thing rotating again. So these are the fine products we're going to be using. Take a look at them while I start pouring this stuff in, and I'm going to use a very scientific method of I have no idea, but I'm just going to pour a little bit of each one into each cylinder, and of course this is only going to work on the bottom, but it looks like the top is pretty free. I'm assuming at some point this engine was sitting right side up, so that would make it this way. This piston is all the way to the top, so I don't know how much we'll get there. I'm also going to put a little bit on these lifters and this cam and just see if that'll do anything. Of course this will end up in the crankshaft, but I'm not going to be building this engine, so let's move it around so we can get to this side. Leave a comment down below while I'm doing this if you think this is a genius idea, or if I'm an idiot and this thing's going to blow up in my garage if I put all this stuff together in here. I mean, hopefully that won't happen. That piston's up too, so we'll go ahead and move on to product number 2. This stuff is supposed to unleash engine power. Let's see if it works. Alright, we're going to go with a little WD-40, and I'm going to spray this around each cylinder just because it's a spray, so it'll get up here a little bit better than this liquid will. And the final product we're going to use is Super Clean, because why not? Alright, so that's done, and we're going to let it sit. We'll see what happens in a couple days. We'll come back. So we got a dead blow hammer, and I got a block of wood. So the plan is I'm going to clean out the cylinders a little bit of the soup I put in there. Hopefully they've done their job. And then we're going to go ahead and put the wood on top of each piston and just kind of hit it gently and see if we can dislodge them. Now I know the whole thing's not going to rotate very far because as the pistons are going down to the clean part of the cylinder, obviously some pistons are going to want to come up to the dirty part. If there's a lip there at all, they could definitely do damage. We don't want to damage this block. Whoever takes this block is going to take it apart and rebuild it. So we just want to see if we can get it moving and know that nothing is seized up. Even if anything is, I'm sure you could break it all apart and pull everything out the bottom and rebuild it. But I'm just kind of on a mission, so let's see what happens. So we'll start on this side. Obviously this one I couldn't really do anything with, but just see if we can get anything out of there. This one is down pretty far, so let's kind of wipe these out, see what kind of muck it removes. This one's got a whole lot of yuck in it. Let's try and soak that up. It's actually cleaning that piston off pretty nice too. Piston walls do feel okay, so I'm hoping we'll be pleasantly surprised. Alright, so we're just going to start out with some gentle taps. And then we'll get some knocks on this other side. Yep, move just a tiny bit. Let's see if I can do it by hand. Look at that. So it is moving. Again, it's not going to move much. But I could see all the pistons bouncing up and down. So that means that the rotating assembly is going to move. But like I said, the pistons, they can't go up. So look at that. It's moving a little bit. Oh, look at that. So the more I work it back and forth, it actually is getting a little bit of movement. You see that line right in there? That's where this piston was. This is pretty rusted up here, and that's exactly where it's stopping. So I'm pretty sure that's the reason. I mean, this thing definitely will not turn all the way over, but to get that much movement out of it, I'm happy. I'd say that was a huge success. I was honestly kind of scared about trying to get this thing to rotate at all. When it did that little bit, I thought that was it. I didn't think any of these pistons were going to make it up any higher. But to get that much rotation out of it, like I showed you, that last cylinder has a pretty thick ridge of rust in there. So I definitely think this is a rebuildable engine. For what we know about it, if anybody's interested in buying it, I'll sell the engine with everything in it, the heads and all that, for whatever somebody wants to give me, I guess. If you guys are interested in me taking this thing apart, for whatever reason, I don't know, it's just going to be to take it apart to see what's in it. I mean, I don't know that anybody cares. So if you want to see me take this apart on another episode, go down in the description below, hit a comment up there, make sure you like this video, hit a comment and say, hey Dan, I want to see you take that engine apart. Why would you want to see that? I don't know, but maybe you do. So we can clean it up, we can take it all apart, get it down to the bare block, and then go ahead and ship it off to somebody to rebuild. But, so what we did find out is that it is a 1976 455 engine. The block is probably a lot more useful than the heads. I don't think the heads are too good if you're building something high performance, but you might be able to take the block and build this and then put some aluminum heads on it or something. I don't know. Anyway, other than that, check out the description below, check out all the other channels, check out my other episodes here, and I'll see you on the next one. Stay positive and keep on wrenching.